When you get on one of the calls, the prospect hangs up. And you don't know why. Hi guys, I guess that you've clicked on this video because you want to make sure that you've got the best conversations with your prospects and your customers so that they can fully listen to you and understand the value that you have to propose. I think you're in the right place. I've had the opportunity to manage a sales team, so I'll give you the best tips I've got. Do not hesitate to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get all the videos in real time when they are posted. Let's go! So we all have been in the situation where prospects or customers hang up on us. What does that mean? Well, first of all, we're not talking about the odd disconnect, right? We really want to understand what's happening in our customers or prospects' heads. And I suggest that we start with this. Do not feel bad about yourself. It is a tough job. It's not for everyone. And the more you knock on doors, the more likely you will be to get into fruitful conversations that get you to close deals, that get you to get meetings, that get you to understand better the pains of your customers. So please do not give up, first off. And to be totally fair with you, sometimes it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with the way you speak. Sometimes there's a lot of things that are involved in your customers or prospects' minds, right? And especially in terms of context. Let me explain. If you've had a lot of conversation with your prospect right from the beginning, right? You've uncovered their pains. You have identified what is it that will help them being successful. You've worked through the numbers. You've sent pricing. They are aware. They just need to make a decision and they don't make it yet. You want to follow up. You want to highlight the importance of your presence, but also more importantly, you want them to make the decision. And when you get onto one of the calls, the prospect hangs up and you don't know why. Sometimes genuinely because they are afraid. They don't have the courage to tell you that they can't make it. And it may be for good reasons sometimes, right? It may be because there's a budget freeze. It may be because it's just not the right time now and later may make more sense. On the other occasion, sometimes it may be because they don't want to let their ego accept such a situation, right? And I know that sounds very stupid, but if something sounds good, too good to be true, sometimes people don't want to go for it, right? And it is not your fault if this happens in that context, right? So don't beat yourself up and make sure that you get to the root of the problem. And one way to do that is by taking immediate action and calling back if you can, or reaching back via email, reaching back via text, right? At the appropriate time in order to understand whether you're going forward with the customer or not. There also may be a case where you come across maybe as too aggressive. I believe to some extent that people buy from people. So even if you're far in the sales process and people don't gel with you or they don't feel you, then they may not be keen to work with you in long term. And even when it comes to prospecting, right from scratch, cold calling, when people talk to you and they feel that you are a bit too pushy, then their resistance mechanism will actually be on and you will struggle. I remember when I was a rookie at the very early stage of my career, I would pick up the phone and be very straightforward with my customers. I would just go for the meeting, straight up. Hardly with an introduction about myself and the reason why I wanted to meet them, right? I would just go straight for a meeting, the time, the hour, and I would just do a lot of calls like that repetitively. I remember one customer that hung up on me, muttering, that's a bit too direct, boom. And I felt like shocked, disappointed, but then I put myself into question. It's like, okay, is that how a normal human being would like you to be talked to? That's a simple question. And then I realized that, okay, well, I had the opportunity to have someone listening into my call, right? And that person called back. And the call went totally different with a positive outcome. The introduction was so smooth. The conversation was so different. He went straight talking about like the references that we had and the reason why we needed to meet, and build urgency in the prospect, who at the end of the day didn't take a meeting the very same day, but did say that we should call back in a month's time. So we went from a situation where there was nothing to hope for to a situation where actually there's progress, right? And it's the way you talk and the way you structure your conversation that will help you have better chats and avoid hangups. What happens sometimes is that prospects or customers don't fully get your messaging, right? And it's not because you can't explain or you can't speak English well or you can't speak your native language to a very high standard. It has nothing to do with that. It's more because there are so many aspects of your product or services that need to be understood by your prospect that it is sometimes challenging to have your customer understand everything. And when they hang up without understanding everything, then that hurts a lot. When it comes to cold calling, I always tell people to make sure that they talk a bit about the emotions as opposed to the features, and that they address the benefits as opposed to just going for the close. Let's take a quick example. Let's say I'm an energy drink company and I'm selling my energy drink to a company. One way you could go about it is with the following. Hi, Mr. Customer. This energy drink has all the right nutrients for you to help your staff being more productive and hit your bottom line very positively. So there was a strong emphasis on the features and the financial outcome, right? You may want to switch things up and do it like this. For instance, hey, Mr. Customer, this is a quality energy drink that uses safe ingredients in order to help your staff fight fatigue, not only at work, but also after work, right? And funny enough, it's used in your industry by your competitor who has seen lately an increase in their staff productivity by 30%. In those two examples, I'm using more the features in the first one and maybe more the benefits in the second one. I'm talking a bit more in the second one about the emotions as opposed to the first one whereby it sounds like I just want a straight sale, right? And in the second one, you will have noticed that I've hardly talked about money or bottom line, which is the most important because, again, and I'm going to repeat myself, humans connect more with emotions. We buy more with emotions than features. Okay? All right. Another reason why some customers or prospects hang up on us is because we struggle to listen. We believe that we're always in a position of force, but essentially, your prospect or customer ultimately decides whether they want to keep on chatting with you or not. So by being a listener, you're showing actually very good leadership skills. If you talk more, then you are ultimately in a weaker position just because you will struggle to understand what truly your customer needs. Let me give you an example. So I remember I had a rep who was really struggling with silences, okay? And that's quite normal, especially when you've just started out. So he would, for instance, get objections such as after maybe, a 1 minute conversation, I'm not too sure what it makes sense. And then he would cut the person off and say, oh, well, but we've got X, Y, Z that you may benefit you. That's why I feel that it makes sense to meet. Some prospects don't like that. Some prospects feel that you're too upfront. If you're too upfront like that, it can frustrate them, frustrate their ego. They may feel that you're not actually respecting them at all. You're not respecting their opinions. Then you're not respecting how they feel. And they may want to shut down the conversation. The best thing you may do when they have the opportunity to talk to you is to empathize, understand why they feel like that. And you may say something along the lines of, all right, I understand, Mr. Customer, that you're not sure. May I ask why? Or you may say, I totally understand that you're not sure. I had customer X who also had a bit of skepticism regarding that area, and they managed to clear up all their doubts via a conversation and a few case studies that we had and that we talk about over the phone via a Zoom call. But the idea is to prolong the conversation and make sure that you're not an obstacle to your progress. I'm not saying it's easy, but the idea is to calm your nerves, right? Because a silence doesn't hurt. A silence doesn't hurt. 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds. You can wait and think about an answer. But what I would suggest you do when you think about something is that in the meantime, you make sure that you are giving signs that you're listening to the person. Another one that can be quite challenging is the confidence level. If you are on a call, a little voice, not the right tone, that is not energetic enough, you a bit deflated, you sound miserable, then that is contagious, guys, and people won't really feel that they should talk to you, right? Or they should respect you. Again. So it is important to understand your product really well, right? Or actually, at the very least, some of the salient aspects of your services that you feel are worth chatting about to your customer, but do that with energy. Because again, if you don't have the energy levels that are required and you don't use the right tonality, then people may just feel like you're wasting their time. You can't tell me that you can't find a reason not to smile. Thinking about something that's positive, that makes you smile, even maybe you should smile whilst you're on the phone, then that will help you being more confident about what you say, and that will also be felt by the person who's on the phone and help you have that conversation that you deserve. So ultimately, what's important, guys, is that when people hang up on you, please do not overthink. Make sure that your enthusiasm levels are at an all-time high and that your tonality is also right. Bear in mind that you are on mission to bring the good news. You have a product that's outstanding. You have services that are out of the ordinary. That is why you are bringing this message to your prospects and customers, and they need to be aware of that. Have the right attitude, and you will definitely not get those hang-ups as frequently as you get, right? Just detach yourself from the outcome. I know it's easy to say, but the idea is that the more you call, the more comfortable you are, the more proficient you get, and eventually you will make a killing, guys. That's all we want. That's all we deserve. That's all we're gonna get. Guys, don't hesitate to comment below if you've got other tips that go through your mind that I may not have talked about, so that we can learn from you too as well. Until then, see you at the next video. Ciao, ciao, ciao.